Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Let's Draw Robots. This is our time to relax and take some time off and do some coloring. So I'm your host, Christina Tia from Wordplay All Day and FRC Team 125, the Neutrons. On today's episode, we have the wonderful Fiona from First Headquarters, and she's an alumni of Team 1011 Crush. So welcome, Fiona, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to color and release some stress.
Thanks for coming on. I know it's like a super chaotic time of year for you. Now that we're approaching week 6 and two champs is right around the corner, which I know you have to go to both of them. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
So on tonight's episode and in our coloring sheet, we're going to be highlighting the 2 champs. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how people can definitely still sign up to volunteer for certain roles at 2 champs. And we're also going to be talking about what it's like to work at headquarters, what it was like being on Crush, and some of the awesome robots that we've seen so far this year in Power Up. So I'm excited to get that going. Let's see what else we have to go over before we actually start talking about things. So our producer Tyler has the URL in chat, so you can download it and color along either digitally or with colored pencils and crayons. And we also have some giveaways for this show. Fiona, do you want to model what our big giveaway is tonight? That is the lovely gear signed by Frank Merrick himself. So if you want to be the new owner of that gear, you have to not only be here, but you have to put in the awesome secret code that we will tell you later on. And speaking of subscribing and winning things, did you know that subscriptions, including your free Twitch Prime subscription, go directly to help support First Updates Now? Even if you're not watching live, if you don't mind buying us the price of a cup of coffee each month, click the subscribe or donate button, and subscribers get many more chances to win. I think it's 5 times the chance to win. So with that out of the way, we're going to get into our first topic tonight, which will be all about Fiona. So Fiona, tell us what it was like to be on Team 1011 and what your role on the team was when you were in high school.
Yeah. So I was on the team when I was in 10th through 12th grade, which was the only years I was eligible. We also had an FTC team at our school, and that was for 8th and 9th graders. So I was a little bitter because they changed the rules right when I reached 9th grade, so I wasn't allowed to join Crush right away. But as soon as I was able to, I did. I quickly became one of the student leaders on the team, working with our lead mentor and just helping plan a lot of the things, helping us rebrand. But I also did a lot of the technical side of things. I learned how to use all the machinery and actually did a lot of the CAD work as well. So dipped a little bit in everything.
It was pretty cool to hear about how you were a huge part of like Crush's rebranding, because I feel like the first time that I saw Crush, like their branding was so different than any other team I had seen before. So kudos to you on that. I'm a huge fan of the Crush branding.
Thanks. Yeah, we were originally our school colors, which were gold and blue. But then we were like, wait, we can be Crush Soda Orange. And we just kind of went from there.
Well, it definitely works. So that's pretty awesome to hear about. So after you graduated from high school, did you stick around with the team, or, what did you do to stay involved with First and FRC?
Yeah, so I actually stayed at the University of Arizona, which is based in Tucson as well. So I actually mentored the team in addition. Right after I graduated, our lead mentor had to step down, and we got another mentor to help out. But he was not as available and didn't quite get the program as much. So I kind of ran the team for a few years. I did take 1 year off, 2015, because I studied abroad in Italy. So I did not compete that season, but I helped out all the rest of the years that I was on the team.
Oh, shucks. What a sad year to miss and be in Italy instead of
bummer, right?
riveting FRC events.
Yeah, but so I helped run the team, and we ran a lot of off-season, or a lot of different events in the off-season. We actually held the first off-season in Tucson that I ran, called Tucson Tussle, which was super fun.
So what was it like for you, kind of seeing Crush really grow since your time in high school and eventually become Epic World Champions last year?
It was really, really exciting because I still knew a bunch of the kids from last year, as well as some of the mentors. So we actually didn't win our first regional ever until 2016, which is when I was still on the team. And I remember that being like one of the most exciting things for everyone involved. Even like our old lead mentor like reached out and was like so excited that we had won. So it was really, really cool for everyone involved. And then last year, I remember one of the students, when we announced that the Festival of Champions was going to happen, he like messaged me and he was like, "I'll see you in Manchester," and I just like laughed at him. And then after they won, he walked up to me and he's like, "I'll see you in Manchester," and I was like, "Okay, fair."
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember I went to the Arizona North Regional in 2016 with the Neutrons, and that was really like my first competition outside of championship, like being around teams from Arizona and West Coast teams. And
Okay.
I remember Crush really standing out because, like, not only was their robot really good, but like, they were just like really nice, friendly people. And I remember like watching them go into their chairman's presentation. I was like, oh man, those people look like they really got it together. Like, we should have dressed a lot better and like color coordinated. But like learning more about the team ever since like meeting you has been really cool. And I don't know, I've seen them compete this year and they look like they're doing really well. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited to see what the rest of the season brings for them. So moving on, we know that you work at headquarters. Do you want to talk about kind of how your journey to headquarters started and like what you do at headquarters and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I graduated from college in 2016, I actually moved up to Phoenix for a few months and started mentoring another team working at this job that I wasn't super passionate about. When I was with that team, we went out to an outreach event and I just kind of like thought to myself, like, this is so much cooler than anything like I've ever done. I have so much, Team 498, the Cobra Commanders out of Cactus High School.
Oh man, we were partners with them at Arizona
Yeah.
North. They're so nice.
Yep, they're great.
Big fan.
So super shout out to them. And I remember I just went to the outreach event and I thought like, this is so cool. And I kind of just went onto the first website and like looked and saw this job. And I was like, oh wow, I've done a lot of this. And I sent it to my friend and I was like, I think I'm going to apply for this. And he was like, was that position written for you? And I was like, basically. And I remember just being like so excited and nervous throughout the entire like interview process. They were like, well, how soon can you start? And I was like, as soon as you give me an offer, basically. So after they gave me an offer, I moved out to Manchester 2 weeks after and started a new job, like not knowing anyone. It's kind of crazy, but super exciting and super fun.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy that you moved all the way from Arizona out to, beautiful Manchester, New Hampshire, which this time of year is, not the best place in the world to be, but it is, it's relatively nice. But, what did you expect and like, how did it end up kind of turning out?
Yeah, I mean, I was really, really excited for this like new opportunity. Being away from like friends and family was definitely really, really hard in the beginning, but I quickly made new friends. And being so busy at work and like doing things that I really love definitely helped. So that's been really cool. I grew up in Tucson where we didn't really have seasons. So I was so excited for fall. And last year was like my first official fall season and it was everything I wanted and more.
Nice. So what is your official title at headquarters and kind of what does it entail for those of us who don't know?
Yeah. So I'm the volunteer resource coordinator for the first robotics competition program. And basically what that entails is helping train all of the key volunteers and then also assigning volunteers for both championships. So I mainly deal with the judge advisors. During the season, I run all the training calls for them and work really closely with our chief judge advisors, Cindy and Alan. And then I also work with some of the other chief volunteers to make sure that they've got all the different tools that they need to help train the volunteers. And then I coordinate like the training schedule and I make sure all the volunteers have access to the training and stuff like that. And then during championship season, in addition to making sure the events are running smoothly, I am working on assigning volunteers, reaching out, trying to fill all the holes that we have.
And that sounds super intense and super crazy, especially now that there's 2 champs worth of volunteers to fill. So talking about 2 champs, what types of roles are you guys still looking for now that it's like right around the corner and teams are starting to figure out whether or not their team's qualified and if they're able to make it?
Yeah, so we're actually in total for both championships, we look for 700 people per championship for the FRC program alone. So it's definitely a big number. Some of those roles are just 1 day or even just a few hour requirements. Things that we're still looking for Houston, we still need a bunch of people for field reset, which that's Wednesday through Saturday. The cool thing is you could be picked as the field that actually goes to Einstein and works it. So that's a super exciting advantage to that. We're also looking for cuers to help with the process. Some of the 1 day requirements, we're looking for people to help with field disassembly, team load in, team load out. Let's see what else. I'm looking at my sheet to cheat. We also have to actually build the Einstein field in both locations, and that'll take place on Friday. So I know a lot of teams are busy because it is the qualification matches that are happening during that time frame. But if you have a ton of people coming, we'd love to have you. We're only looking for about 12 volunteers for that role.
Wow.
But it's a super exciting opportunity to come build the field and see Einstein before anyone else.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. And for like regular field setup, are you guys still looking for people, that may be arriving to Detroit or Houston early to go and set up, all, what is it, the 6 subdivisions?
Yeah, so it's the 6 subdivisions, but also the 2 practice fields. So it's 8 fields in total.
Okay.
I actually just filled the Houston field assembly yesterday, so that was really exciting for me.
Nice.
But we are still looking for people for Detroit. We're looking for about 40 people total, and that's Tuesday. So if you're coming in early or you're just local to the area and want to volunteer, you can definitely sign up online on firstinspires.org.
Right. So if you're one of the hundreds of Michigan teams that happens to be in the area,
Yes.
Why not stop by on a Tuesday and help set up the fields and make sure that they are raring and ready to go for everybody?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know 4481 last year got to St. Louis early and helped out with the field assembly. So it's a fun team activity. And like this year, the field, at least from what I've set up at district events, isn't bad, especially takedown too. Like it goes really fast. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and 4481 is actually helping us again in Detroit, so we're super excited. We reached out to them as soon as they qualified, and we're like, hey, are you interested? And they were like, we had so much fun doing it last year, of course. So that was cool.
That's awesome. I love them. Sweet. I'm definitely not getting to Detroit early enough to actually go and sign up and volunteer. Otherwise I would, because, First definitely treats their champs volunteers like gold. I do remember like the few times that I have volunteered at champs, like the food is always great. There's like a great lounge when you're not busy volunteering, you can go and work at. So, and usually you get like a sweet little swag gift, and it's totally worth it. And the people that you get to meet while you're volunteering and the teams that you get to interact with is always a blast. So if people have the, availability, or if you have parents or, teachers that are coming along and are looking for something to do, volunteering is definitely a great way to, stay active and engaged instead of just sitting in the stands or sitting in the pits. So you should definitely sign up to volunteer, and it's free shirt at least. So
you're also going to get we have a volunteer gift, which I'm not going to reveal what it is, but it's super exciting. The volunteer t-shirts are also going to be super exciting.
We won't tell anybody. Tell us.
And then you'll get a volunteer championship pin. If you're an alumni, you'll get the alumni patch, and we always have the little ribbons that are fun. And there's also some other fun activities planned, which I don't want to spoil, but stay tuned. I do want to point out that if you are coming with a team and you're interested in volunteering, but you want to be close to the team, we can actually accommodate those. So, for instance, if you want to do field reset and you're with Team 125, you can put that in, or you can send us a note, and we can actually work it so that you get assigned to the field that your team will be on.
That is awesome. I mean, what more could you want? If you have a gazillion people on your team and you don't have a specific role, then there you go. Go sign up and be field reset on your team's field, because why not?
And then you get to be up close and in the action. Mm-hmm. Plus, you get to see all the cool robots.
Seriously. That would be the best. Maybe I'll just ditch my team and go, do field reset, get a better view of the matches.
Yeah, there you go.
So what are you most looking forward to this year now that you guys made it through Houston last year and really pulled off a great event overall? And, looking forward to Detroit where it's a new venue. Like, what are you most excited about for each of the championship events?
I'm really excited to just see a bunch of the different people that I've interacted with over the season and then also just last year at championships. It's like a great opportunity to see people who I only see like once or twice a year. And some of which I've become really close with because working the two events, you become friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely excited for that. I'm excited to see my old team because they'll be at the Houston Championships. And my new team that I mentor should also be attending Detroit as long as they do well at district championships next weekend.
So Fiona, now that you are a first employee and you've moved to Manchester, what team are you working with?
First team 238, the Crusaders.
Nice. And what is your role on that team? And like, what was it like kind of moving across the country to district land of New England First and working with, like a new team, new shop, new set of kind of resources and just new team stuff?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I didn't actually start mentoring the team until this past summer in May. When I first moved out here, just with all the craziness of not entirely knowing what my job was going to be and how much time I was going to have, I decided to wait until I decided to mentor a team. I got convinced after one of my old students reached out to me and was talking about how much of an impact I had on his life. And I was like, oh, dang it, I need to volunteer, or I need to start mentoring a team again. I've been working with them a lot. I've done a little bit of missionary work with them, but for the most part, I've been helping them with their rewards. And then also imaging everything. We got a vinyl cutter in the shop, so I've been branding everything in our shop.
Going a little vinyl cutter crazy, I don't blame you. Those things are the best.
It's the coolest machine.
What do you think about like districts and kind of how that operates compared to like, being out in Arizona where you were going to regionals on your team?
Yeah, so it's completely different. And I remember when I first started working at first, I didn't quite get the grasp of the districts, and I'd be like, I don't quite understand districts. Someone explain this to me. But now, mentoring a team, it makes a lot more sense. I think it's great for the teams because they get to go to more events that are a lot closer. For Arizona, when I was in high school, there was only one event at the time in Arizona, and that was up in Phoenix, which was about 2 hours away. If we wanted to go to another regional, we had to go to Las Vegas, California, or Colorado. Those were the next closest events, and we were also paying a lot more than compared to the district model.
Yeah, I definitely when we switched to districts not too long ago, it was a pretty big change, but overall I feel like as a mentor it's nice because for the team aspect it's a lot more affordable, and then it's a bit more manageable when you're working with students. You can just drive to an event and drive home at night rather than having to find hotels and all that crazy stuff. And I feel like it makes champs that much more memorable and exciting because you are traveling and you're staying at a hotel and it's more of a trip. But
yeah, I completely agree. It's nice for the students that they don't have to spend as much when they're traveling just because the events are so much closer. So more kids are able to go, and we still coordinate the travel with our team so that way they all drive together, which makes it easier for the team members to get there, but it's not super expensive.
Nice. So with you being a first employee, are there other first employees that are also mentors in the Manchester area?
Yeah, we actually have several people on the Crusaders, but there's also other local teams that have other first staff employees mentoring them, which is super exciting and cool for all the teams. It gives them just the nice benefit of a little bit of a price reduction, and then it also the people who work at first, it gives them the benefit of actually working with teams and seeing how their decisions at work kind of benefit the teams. I think it always puts people in perspective if you work with a team because it keeps you thinking about what is the team going to think about this.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big point to make. I know for a long time, I felt like headquarters was kind of this black box to me, mainly when I was in high school or later in college when I was mentoring. But I feel like it's really refreshing to see, Frank and stuff make these blog posts that really explain the decision making or let people know that they're looking for input. And then hearing that people like you are going and working at headquarters that were students and mentors, you're helping not only train our volunteers, but make decisions, on behalf of the program, which I think a lot of people would be and probably are very happy to hear, because I mean, you've experienced it and you're still experiencing it as a mentor, and you have that great perspective of, you know, what the students need or what a team needs. And I don't know, it just makes me happy to know that there are people there that have our best interests in mind, like in the best interest of the students in mind. So
Yeah, absolutely. I like knew how it like how much the program affected me when I was in high school, and I want to make sure that everyone has that experience. So I'm definitely always thinking about what the teams think, especially like since I deal with the judges, especially like I'm always reminding them like don't forget it's about the team experience. And we had this big initiative this year with customer service for all of our volunteers, where we reminded them like where we actually put together a training that reminded them that hey, like things might be stressful, people might be upset, but remember this is all for the teams, and you should like think about that when you're at the event.
yeah, absolutely. As somebody that runs district events in New England, that's really like the main reason why I wanted to jump into being an event chair, was because I really wanted to make sure that like everybody had a really good experience at the event, because we've all been to really crappy events before, and there's nothing that sucks more than like not only paying to be there, but then spending an entire week in there just, you know, being stressed out, or, you know, pouring your heart and soul into something and just feeling like crap when you leave the event. So, I mean, I totally agree that making sure that everybody has a good experience, or everybody has, you know, the ability to have a good experience is super important. And it's nice to see, like, I feel like we're making this big kind of generational move now that there are so many people that are alumni. Like they're either giving back by volunteering, they're mentoring, they're working at headquarters, and they're running events. So I feel like we've seen a really positive shift in the first community lately from headquarters, and even, you know, on a smaller scale, like at events, because of that. So
Yeah. I love hearing when the teams have great experience, but at the same time, like when I hear a report about something happening and a volunteer, it's just heartbreaking, because you know that like for some teams, this is their one event that they went to, and it's unfortunate that they had to deal with some sort of situation.
yeah, and I think, I don't know, like when we went to Arizona North, it was our our third year in districts. And it was pretty cool. Like at the event, they had it set up where it was a veteran team and then a rookie team in the pit. So we were next to a team that was a rookie, and that was their one event for the year. Like they were there with a teacher, and it was like a small team. They had like barely a kit bot together. The robot didn't work the first few matches. And I remember like, you know, right before alliance selection, the teacher was like, well, that's it, guys. Like we had a great season. We'll try next year. And in my head, I'm like, this is week 1. Like we're about to go compete 3 more times back in New England. Like, and these people are packing up for the season, and they didn't get anything more than these 8 matches. So it's, I don't know. I think some people lose sight of that sometimes, but it's always important to remember, like, you know, there are those teams that only have that one event, and that's the like one experience they have with first in that year. So pretty crazy. It is nice to see though, like as much as I hate 2 champs like separating some of, you know, the teams from each other, and I don't get to see people, it is really nice to know that there are definitely more people that are getting to experience championship, because that's like a pretty awesome inspirational experience that, you know, no regional or no district or district championship could ever kind of amount to.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. And so in a moment, we're going to start our giveaway. We're going to be raffling off that awesome gear that's signed by Good Guy Frank. Good stuff. That's like some fresh ink from this morning, from what I've heard. So.
Oh yeah, definitely fresh ink. It was, I think, lunchtime actually.
So that is one of a kind. So if you want to win this awesome gear, which will be sent to you, you need to type in, all in one word, Good Guy Gear. So if you want to win the Good Guy Frank gear, type in Good Guy Gear, all one word. And if you try to say that 5 times fast, it probably won't work. So don't forget that subs get 5 times the chance to win giveaways, and good luck to everybody. And if you're watching with a team, don't forget to log on and get in chat right now, and each person will have a chance to win. So good luck. So Fiona, we have some questions from our viewers, which I'm surprised this many people are on right now. Nice job. Thanks for being here. So,
no problem.
So Caltran is asking, if someone wanted to eventually become a Champs MC or game announcer, what would the process to be like to do that be like.
Yeah.
And on a hypothetical, what's a good way to find areas starved of game announcers and MCs if the area I'm currently in is saturated and I can't get a break into those positions there? That's a great question.
Okay. Those are both good questions. So for the first one about championships, so we actually start the picking of those or inviting of those a lot earlier. We start inviting people out in like November or December. So our chief MC, Blair Huntermark, actually helps with that process. So if you're interested, I would send him an email. We actually have that listed out on the first website. So if you go to the volunteer role descriptions, you'll be able to see that on the MC one. It says like, please email, I think it's blair@firstinspires.org. And that way we can put you in the consideration. What he'll do is he'll then go and find events that you've volunteered at and find footage to see if we would like to use you at championship. And then of course you would have to pay your own way because unfortunately we cannot cover the costs of our volunteers. For the second part of that question of how you find out areas that are in need, you can send us an email at volunteer@firstinspires.org and we can kind of give you some recommendations. Off the top of my head, I can't think of areas that are really in need, but I know that there are areas that don't have people locally. So we'll send out some of our more experienced people to help build that up.
Cool.
So,
and Tyler, you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I have a follow-up question. So you mentioned something that you review tapes and footage for the MC. So can I send Blair like my own demo tape?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm going to do that right now. Thank you. He's gonna love me so much.
He's gonna hate me for like putting his name out there, but that's okay.
So good.
By the way, Caltran, if you're watching, just send Blair that video of Vex Worlds of you doing the worm while drinking diet soda. Perfect.
Oh man,
that's what we look for.
How do you not have that like queued up and ready right now?
Oh
Tyler?
my God, I know. I'm sorry. Actually, a follow up too, and maybe a myth you can maybe dispel, Fiona, is somebody in chat posted about if they've volunteered for Vex and stuff, that might hurt or hinder them from volunteering at first. And I know that's not true, but can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So that definitely does not hinder your chances of volunteering. That actually helps you because that shows that you've got experience volunteering in whatever role. So on your profile, you can actually list out the type of experience you have. And if you've done X, Y, or Z at Vex, it might translate exactly to what we need for first. So it helps you for sure.
The more the merrier. I mean, especially when it comes to like game announcing and emceeing, if you're able to do, both Vex and like FTC and FRC, then that definitely can't hurt you.
Yeah, if I can jump in on that too, because I get a lot of questions in regards to emceeing, and really just start somewhere. I mean, go do a Vex event, go do an FTC, go do FLL. If you're interested in getting the game announcing and emceeing, you just got to start getting more and more experience. And, I was just in Las Vegas about a week ago training a bunch of people, and what I tell them is watch what you like, take what you don't like, and make it your own, right? See what works. And this is very MC game announcer specific, or it might sound that way, but it's actually true for everyone, is that it is not about you. It is about the students, and it's about the experience you're providing them. I don't care if you're a safety glass person. I don't care if you're a robot inspector. I don't care if you're the MC. Always keep the students and the audience in mind at all times, because you are there to serve. You're there to be humble and to be a servant and to make it a fun time for everybody. And it doesn't matter what position you're in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's something that it's easy to lose sight of sometimes. But like Tyler said, even somebody as like simple as the safety glasses attendant, like when you have a positive interaction with them, like that's an awesome thing. When you don't, that just like sits with you. I've been to so many events where like the screaming and the just like barking at people, it's like, holy shit, like what did you have this morning that turned you into such a monster? Like relax a little bit, or as Fiona and my team likes to say, Jaid a little bit. Like you're here to like help out, and it's a high school robotics competition at the end of the day. Like these teams have paid a ton of money to be here. No need to like take an inch and go 1,000 miles at being a jerk to somebody. So, but I mean, when you do have positive interactions with people, it's the best. Like I don't know, I've had some really good interactions with volunteers like within the New England district or even at Palmetto, like everyone was so nice there. And I mean, not to say that they're mean everywhere else I go, but they were like very nice, and it stuck with me. And like, I would love to go back to Palmetto if it's week 1 and we have the money and the chance to go. So, you know, like the way that people interact with teams and people at events is super important. I don't know. If you're a volunteer out there, just be nice. Like, just be nice. There's no reason to be.
Fiona, what can people do if they either have a really good or a negative experience with a volunteer and they're at an event? What do you recommend that they do? Who should they reach out to and contact for both of those?
Such a good question.
That's a great question. One thing that we're really pushing for is the non-medical incident report. This is for bad issues. So if you have like a really negative interaction, you can go to your pit admin desk and they'll have them. If you don't feel comfortable going to them, we actually have the form available online. But that'll be reviewed by our YPP folks to make sure that there's no issue. And if it's just a volunteer role issue, it gets sent to us so that way we can review and address it. We definitely hate hearing about those instances, but like a lot of people will complain about different things and expect change, but if you don't actually do something about it, headquarters doesn't know and can't actually do anything to help. So filing those complaints definitely will help change the situation. If you have a great experience, just email us at volunteer@firstinspires.org. We love to hear about volunteer stories, but also positive interactions that you have with our volunteers.
Yeah. Or like live tweet it, like tweet at First Official and be like, OMG, nicest volunteer ever. So good.
Our social media team is pretty good at catching all those, and they'll totally retweet or repost, whatever.
Use the hashtag STEM Squad. I feel like that would be appropriate for a positive interaction.
Absolutely. STEM Squad, OMG Robots.
All that good stuff. All right. Tyler, do we have any other... Oh, we do have a question. So the unofficial fourth has asked, what suggestions do you have for people who would like to volunteer but are also trying to stay on a budget when it comes to expenses?
So I'm assuming this is also for championship. I know that a lot of people that will go to championship where volunteers will post on like Chief Delphi, or there's a lot of Facebook groups out there offering to split costs. That's definitely a great way to keep the costs down for you personally. We have been asked to somehow facilitate a way for volunteers to be able to share costs. It is like a little bit of a tough situation to figure out. Because of like liability and stuff like that, but we are working on doing something like that towards the future. We know that it'll help because coming to either one of the championships is definitely expensive, especially if you have to do both a flight and a hotel. So definitely if you can share the costs with others, that's a great way to lower the costs.
For sure. All right, so I think that's it for questions, and I think we're ready to give away this awesome gear. So Tyler, can you, without rigging this, can you pick a winner?
Well, I've already deselected Caltran. He's not allowed to win. I'm just kidding, buddy.
Womp womp.
Oh man, I gotta see. Did Frank enter? Frank's in chat right now.
He is.
He did enter. I'm gonna laugh so hard if he wins. By the way,
I hope he wins.
Yeah. By the way, last chance. So Good Guy Gear is your opportunity. You do have to either follow or subscribe. You're not required to subscribe, but we definitely appreciate your support in making shows like this happen because it costs money to make it happen. And while we don't make a ton, we definitely like to put that to good use of reinvesting back into our shows. So with that said, we're gonna roll and find out a winner, and that's going to be Frank. Oh no, CMC Bride 166. Congratulations, subscriber. He's definitely won before, and this time wins. So all subs, if you didn't win, go ahead and type as you see the rigged emote in chat a bazillion times because you didn't win, and therefore we've rigged it. And CMC Bride is the winner. So congratulations to CMC Bride.
Nice job. He also lives in New Hampshire. I'm pretty sure he's on 166.
He can just pick it up, right?
Go and pick it up from headquarters.
Yeah, we'll just leave it like downstairs or something.
We'll drop it off at District Champs.
Oh, there we go.
It's at Frank's desk, and you can actually pick out that and any other item on his desk.
I hear there's a lot of leftover gears, so you could always pick up a few more while you're there.
We've also got some fuel if anyone wants some.
Oh.
You and Annie Mark, huh?
True.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for tonight's Let's Draw Robots. Thanks to everybody who helped make this show possible. And a huge thank you to Fiona for coming on. Fiona, anything you want to plug or leave us with before we end today?
If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot an email over to volunteer@firstinspires.org. We can definitely help find a role that will fit the days available. So if you're only available Thursday, for instance, I can shoot you over an email with some possible options, and then we can get you assigned. So any questions, just email us.
Nice. So accommodating. And if you want more First Robotics in your life and like what we do here on First Updates Now, we would be absolutely delighted to have you click that follow or even subscribe button to help support First Updates Now and to get some awesome benefits. If you want to don't forget to subscribe to Fun for free or just a few bucks a month. And if you're watching, stay tuned for the regional recaps that are coming up tonight. And what else is on tonight, Tyler? Is that it? Regional recaps? 6. And they're all really, really good. I was watching some of them on YouTube the other night. So stay tuned for those. And on behalf of myself and our producer, Tyler, who is awesome and is going to be here all night long, I would like to thank you for tuning in and thank Fiona for dropping by. It's so awesome to have a First Headquarters staff member like here and hanging out with us and just, you know, spitting the truth. Fiona, can you show us your drawing before we...
I didn't finish, but...
You didn't finish? That's okay. Fiona's super artistic for those who didn't know. Show us your drawing. So good. Yes. So on behalf of myself and Tyler and Fiona, thanks for dropping by and stick around for regional recaps and we will see you next time on our next episode of Let's Draw Robots. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks.